You're listening to the Becoming Catholic podcast. Hi, my name's Eliza. In 2019, Jesus Christ saved me from an unbiblical, secular, and New Age life. After feeling like there was something missing in my evangelical walk, God gave me yet another grace I didn't deserve. He opened my eyes and heart to the Catholic faith. Join me as I share my honest journey of what it's like to become Catholic. My intention for this project is that it's a bridge of understanding for those who know and love the Catholic faith and those who are curious, questioning, or somewhere in between. If you love the Lord, I invite you to join me each week and let's learn what it's like to become Catholic together. Hit the follow or subscribe button, and if you like the episodes, please leave a kind review. I'm so grateful you're here. Let's get into this week's episode. Hello, sweet angel. Welcome back to another episode. I am so excited to finally be back with you. I had a lot of things happening the last 2 months, and it's still not all settled and stuff, but I know that I needed to get back here with you to feel normal, and I'm so glad that I am, and I'm so grateful that you are subscribed, that new people are finding this podcast. That's so exciting to me. I'm just praying that the Lord continues to keep blessing this space with the stories and the things that I share and teach here about becoming Catholic. This episode is really just going to be an encouraging and cheery kind of like we're doing it episode. And yeah, I want to share some questions you can think about, and I have a free resource for you that you can go and download and grab, and hopefully that will be something that will help you to move through the year. You can go get that right at the link in the show notes. It's a free little download that you can use to track how many masses you go to, and also there's a spot from January to December where you can write down some of the graces that you received this year from the Lord on your journey, whether you are already Catholic, you're thinking about becoming Catholic, you're a Christian who's curious about Catholicism, which is amazing too, or you're like me, you're on the journey to actually becoming Catholic this year. There's spaces there that you can write down the graces and the blessings that the Lord offers to you. And I know that for me, I like to keep track of them. I put that all in one place for you. But I also thought that it would be really nice too to have a little tracker to put in my planner that I could just circle the masses that I attend. Obviously the obligational ones, right? Every Sunday and the days of obligation, which I'm going to do a whole episode on next week. So we can talk about obligation and what it means actually, what we're committing to when we become Catholic, what our responsibilities, so to speak, will be. We're going to do a whole episode on that because I think it's really important. But I hope that this download will just be helpful if you're someone like me who I'm trying to this year intend to go to more daily masses, Monday through Friday. I'm not going to be able to do it every day, but I'm hopeful that I can at least get in as many as I can. And it'll just be fun to circle the days that I go and to see at the end of the year how many times I was able to be in the actual presence of Jesus Christ in the tabernacle during Mass, all those things. And it will just be really nice to track that. So that download is there for you. It's in the show notes, the very first link. Just click that and download that and enjoy it. And I hope that it is helpful for you. Okay, now let's get into what I want to share with you today. And today I'm just really in a celebratory mood. I know that this is such a heavy, big, huge experience when we choose and want and desire to become Catholic. Some of us, I'm noticing in RCIA, some of us it's just like practical. Yeah, my kids already go to the school that's attached to our church parish, and so I want to be Catholic as well, like that kind of thing. Or if you're getting married and you want to get married in the Catholic faith, that's amazing, and raise your kids Catholic, great. And then for others of us, it's more of a conversion experience that like for me, I always say it's like the Lord opened my eyes and then I can't unsee. I knew I had to become Catholic. And from that one moment of a yes that I said to the Lord that yes, I'll become Catholic, every other kind of, I don't want to say issue, but like challenge I had or like false belief I had, the Lord has been so good and worked out for me. So that has been something that's been such a grace and a blessing. Part of the reason that I'm doing this podcast is because so many Protestants or people who are just like unsure and they're like searching out their faith have questions. And so I want to be able to share the things that have helped me open my eyes or to change my mind or to help me grow in my spiritual walk over time, because not all of it happens all at once. There were a few things. If you go back to episode 1 or 2, you hear my whole story of what the Lord did for me. And then since then, it's been just a bunch of steps. And I think that's something that's such a blessing. It was like, it's hard enough to say the big yes of saying, yes, I want to be Catholic, after so many years of resistance of like family belief systems, or Catholics aren't really Christians, or whatever you are raised in, the biases that you have against Catholics. And it is a journey. It's a path that the Lord has taken me on. And a lot of it to this point, and until only like a few weeks ago, it has felt like a trudge. Like I've felt fearful, and I've felt a lot of spiritual attack. I'm going to do a whole episode on that. I know I promised that a bit ago, but I do promise I'm going to talk about the big stories of spiritual attack that I've experienced, because I think it's very normal. There's a lot of reasons behind that. I don't want to get off track, but there's a lot of reasons behind why we will be spiritually attacked, not only as you're getting up to becoming Catholic, but once you are Catholic. And there's lots of reasons for that. But like that has felt really intense these last few months for me. And I started to share with my husband, I'm really scared. Like I had a moment. It was just a moment, but I had a moment where I was like, I don't know, maybe I should just put this down. This feels like too much for me to carry. Like I can't do this. And my husband was so good. And he was like, you're not carrying it alone. The Lord is walking with you every minute and every step of this. Like you got to just keep going. Like you can't, like you've wanted this for so long now. It's like you have to keep it up, keep doing it. And like that was great counsel. I'm so grateful for that. But it's also, there were moments where I was just like, this is literally so much for me. And I was just like very sad, very depressed, very feeling like the main kind of like story that the enemy holds over me is that I'm alone, or that like I'm unlikable because of hard things that I've had and experienced in the past. I get isolated, and then the enemy has you're nothing to the Lord. There's no point. Don't worry about it. Just put it to the side. You don't need to do this. That's how my kind of thing unravels. And so finding the foundations for ourselves that we can use, that we can lean on, that we can feel supported by is the biggest thing that we can do for ourselves as we are walking this path towards becoming Catholic, being confirmed in the church, continuing to go to RCIA, all the steps that you have to take. And there are steps that we're going to have to take that I don't even know about yet, because my RCIA hasn't had a list of these are the things you're going to do. But I just wish for my own personality that was a little bit more structured, but it is the way it's meant to be, and I'm fine with that. But I think that this is it's a lot. So I don't mean to scare anyone and say for sure you're going to be spiritually attacked, because that's not necessarily true. It's just been my experience so far. And so for the last 2 months, it's felt really heavy and intense. And I had those moments of worrying and fearing. And then it's like the clouds started to part, and I really started to see the beauty and the excitement come through. And that's what this episode is all about. Just celebrating that if you are a person that's on your walk, getting ready to become confirmed as a Catholic, you and I are going to become Catholic this year. And I'm so happy about this. I'm so excited for it was like 2 masses ago that we started to get prayed for by our parish, prays for the catechumens and the people who are thinking about becoming a part of the faith. So that's really excited just to know that like our parish in that moment at every mass is praying for us, is praying for our growth and our holy yes to go forward and to make the right decision for our spiritual souls if we decide to go forward with becoming Catholic. And that itself, I think we in our culture can just so underestimate the power of prayer. And ever since I've become Christian, I have seen the Lord see me in my prayer by answering very specific things in prayer, which have been such a blessing. And yeah, He will know us by our fruit, right? And so it's such a good feeling to know that we are walking this together. There have been people who have reached out to me who are Catholic who listen to this, and they're just supporting and being encouraging and excited that there is hope, this beautiful experience that we're about to experience when we're fully inside of the church. I want to celebrate you if you are someone who is discerning becoming Catholic. If you need any support or you just need a friend, I am totally here for you. I know that might sound a little funny because we don't know each other, but I hope that you know that you are not in this alone. And I have a ton of resources and ideas and things if you feel like you need them. You are not alone. Do not let the enemy make you feel isolated and that you don't have the answers that you seek or the information that you need. Please reach out if you need to at any time. But also, I'm just really, I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling the fears are dissipating, the excitement and like the beauty of it is really pouring forward. We were talking in our CIA last time about some of the people had questions about it's so awkward that you can't go up and people scooch around you. You have to get out of your seat and you have to let other people pass by when everyone is getting up for communion. And I had all of those feelings. And I realized when this person was sharing this, I was like, oh, wow, I have moved past that. That's really cool. Because before I would like chug back tears and I would really feel like I was being given graces at this time when last January when I was knowing that I wanted to be Catholic and just feeling it so deeply in my soul every time I was in Mass. And that lasted for a few months straight of every single Mass feeling like just devastated, just like crying my eyes out. But it wasn't really devastation. It was like the grief of what I was letting go of, like another little death of, we go through that a lot as Christians when we have our conversion. And yeah, so I was feeling that. And then, but also just like I was feeling the intensity of the Lord and the graces He was giving me to keep going, to be on fire for Him, to be so in love with Him, to say yes to Him and Him alone, to let go of more things in my life that I needed to let go of. And Lord knows I've already done so much of that. I let go of an entire business when I was first saved and lost friends and acquaintances and job opportunities because I could no longer do those things because I was in New Age stuff that was demonic. And even if it wasn't demonic, it was not godly at the very least. And so the Lord has asked me to do a lot. And now it feels like the Lord is now saying, well done. Now it's time to almost like chill. It's not sit back and relax because that's not the feeling of it, because I'm still working and still doing and working towards my sanctification like I always will. But now it's more like, take a seat and you can relax for a minute and you can take a breath and you can enjoy this. You can enjoy this Mass. I'm going to pour my graces out upon you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to help you to do what you need to do. The Holy Spirit is upon me and I'm still listening and discerning and knowing what to do. But it's more like not as intense feeling. I've had that shift. And I think that might be, I'm seeing the patterns of the people who I've heard from that are converting and have shared. At first, it feels really heavy and intense. Like you want nothing to do but go to Mass. For some people who have had like a conversion similar to mine, is we're just so on fire for the Lord. All we want to do is go to Mass because we feel so good there. And we feel so good there because we've learned and we know and we trust that the Lord Jesus Christ is there in every tabernacle in the whole world. And it's so beautiful. When we realize this, then the Lord works on our hearts to really help us to understand it in even unconscious ways. And so that's why Mass feels so good to us. That's why we want to keep going back again and again, more and more. And yeah, it's just very cool to see the transition. It's like from like intensity, like wanting nothing more than to be at Mass, and then to have that experience of being so close with the Lord, hearing from the Lord. Like I hear everyone's different. Like you could be praying and you get an insight or an awareness. And I truly feel like that's the Lord speaking to us. And that happens to people in different ways. Some people see things at Mass. Like there can be otherworldly things, but there can also just, more than anything, the most important is like the peace that only the Lord Jesus can give us. And we feel that when we go to church. So that's really special. Just to know that the fire is within us and we're excited for everything. But it's also now, for me, it's shifting and it's settling. And it's like becoming real. And the excitement is real that I'm going to be Catholic in about 90 days. Like, what? I've gotten my confirmation dress. I know Chris and I have to get our convalidation ceremony, where we weren't married in the Catholic Church. We were married outside in Central Park in New York City. So we didn't do that Catholic because we weren't practicing then. And so we have to do a convalidation ceremony where our marriage will become valid in the eyes of the church. So we're both really excited by that. So we're deciding to pick out some new simple wedding bands together. That will be really fun. And there's just like things that we're hopeful for, that we're excited for, that we're ready for. Just all the little blessings and things I'm just so grateful for. So yeah, so those are the things I wanted to I just wanted to encourage you, be excited with you. Maybe you're going through this process and you're not even really excited by it. Guess what? I'm excited for you. If you have no one else to be thrilled for you, I am thrilled for you. And to just keep up, keep doing the things you're doing that are working, keep praying, pray for yourself. Make sure that you pray for yourself about just having the strength to continue and to keep going forward until you're confirmed. We haven't talked about the details yet, but everyone who becomes confirmed has to have a sponsor. So if you don't have a sponsor yet, now would be a really good time to be praying and discerning about that. Ask around at your parish of how that works. If you're someone who doesn't have a sponsor yet, they will help you. I would also be looking at some books and things that might help you with any struggles that you're going through. One book that has been absolutely life-changing for me, I just got it like a week ago. I'm a book person, so I don't think I've gone through an episode without being like, hey, have you heard about this book? This book is really great. But this book is called Conversion: Spiritual Insights into an Essential Encounter with God. And when I was just a Christian, not even thinking about Catholicism, this book would have helped me. It's by Father Donald Haggerty. It talks about what conversion is. I think for a long time, I haven't known the word to use that's like non-Protestant for being saved. So being saved is the equivalent of conversion as a Catholic. And there are layers of conversion. And this book really is beautiful. It's great for people who are becoming Catholic, and it's also great for cradle Catholics and anyone in between. It's awesome. And so it's been helping me so much. This would have been a life-changing book for me, honestly, if I had this when I was first converted to being Christian. Look that up if you want. My book list on Amazon is always linked. It'll be there. And then I think the other thing that is helping me, let me know, reach out if you wish to, and let me know if it would be helpful for me to do an episode about the goal setting things that I do for spiritual life. I'd be happy to share that with us all here, because there's a specific way that I'm like goal setting and things that I want to focus on for the year. I chose my own patron saint for 2025, and that was really fun. And it's also really scary because my patron saint is St. Paul. And so Paul is so intense. And I'm like, oh no, what does that mean? But every time I was praying and discerning, it was St. Paul. And so I'm really excited to be walking with him in 2025. And I know that he's going to change my heart and my mind and help me to evangelize and be even more passionate for the Lord. So I know it's going to be such a huge blessing. But yeah, that's also one of the things I did. But when I'm bringing that all up because there's another book that I'm walking with throughout the whole year from St. Alphonsus Liguori called The 12 Steps to Holiness and Salvation. And so you just read one chapter a month and you just live with it. You marinate on it, you think about it, you focus on one of the steps. And so it just takes you through a trajectory of these steps to holiness according to a saint. And I got this last year. And so I knew I was going to go through it, month by month this year. So those two books I find to be very helpful. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for all the resources that we have nowadays. And it's been really helpful to do those things. And then the last thing I'll share is that I finally found a spiritual director. This is something I have been thinking about before I even knew I wanted to become Catholic. So well over a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe even 2 years now, I've been thinking about and learning about what spiritual direction is. But I have not been able to find anything or anyone that it made sense. It just didn't line up yet. And right at the beginning of the year, only a week or two ago, probably like the very first week of January, that started to pop up again. I was looking for a Catholic Bible study near me, which I found, which I have a resource for that too if you want one. And I'm starting that up. And I was looking for that. And at the same parish that had this Bible study, they have spiritual direction, and it's the parish over from us. And so I'm very excited that they had all these spiritual directors to reach out to and to ask questions and to meet with, and then to have meetings with, and then to decide who my spiritual director will be. So that's all in the works. I'm really looking forward to that. I need that nourishment of and help of someone else. I think that's something that's so important. This isn't exactly discipleship, but discipleship is important. Being in relationship with other people who have the same faith as you is important. Going to Mass and finding a parish that you love is important. Finding priests that you're going to feel safe and comfortable with to do confession is important. All of these things, right? And it's just all these steps that are like adding up over time that I think can be just so useful and helpful and things like that. When you hear the Holy Spirit speaking to you, just don't disregard, don't push it off. Try to just sit with it and say, okay, that's interesting. Because for me, I was like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about spiritual direction in so long. I know that it's important. I know it's not for everyone also, but I'm curious and I want to pursue it to see if it would be something that's if it makes sense for me. And so that's what I did. And I feel really great about that. So TBD, I will definitely be sharing more about what that looks like and what it is and how it works and how I found mine. And I'll share all those things with you coming up soon. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do today. Just love you and encourage you and let you know that, we're back and we took a hiatus and I'm very excited to be back and to share all these things with you. I love you so much. I'm so encouraged and ready to become Catholic in just a little more than 90 days. If you would keep me in your prayers, an extra bonus would be such a blessing. If you would, this is a huge ask for me, but if you would offer some masses for me, especially leading up to my confirmation, I'd be so grateful for that. And I have classes and things that are going to be coming out in 2025. And I'm really so grateful for you being here. And make sure that you like and subscribe. If you would leave a 5-star review, that would be wonderful. That shows other people that you like this and that this podcast is worth listening to. I'd be grateful for that. And I will be in your earbuds again next week talking about the obligations of the church. I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It means the world to me. And because you know that we're a new show, it would be so amazing if you could do one of two things for me. First is if you would be willing to write a 5-star review. You can go wherever you're listening to the episode right now. Just quickly type in that you love this episode, give it 5 stars, and honestly, I'm so grateful for you for doing that. The second would be if you'd be willing to share about the podcast. The more that we share about it, the more people know it exists, and the more people we get to talk about the Catholic faith together. And that's just always so important and so special. And so if you'd be willing to share it on socials or text it to your best friend, or even if you want to just share it with that person that you always talk to about faith-based things, and you think that they would also enjoy the content here, I'd be so grateful for that. So I just want to say again, thank you so much for being charitable with me in the nerves and the excitement of sharing my conversion story to the Catholic faith. I hope that this episode helped you in some way. I hope that the future episodes continue to pour into you and that you start to see the uniqueness of the way the Lord is moving in your life and drawing you in towards Him. If there is ever any way that I can pray for you, all you have to do is send me an email, info@elizacc.com, and I'd be so grateful to do that for you. Okay, I can't wait to share more with you soon. I'll see you in the next episode.